Greetings, nerds. This is Cena Nerd. I'm your host, Sarah Belmont, and with me, as always, is our Mr. Producer, Will Polk. How are you doing tonight, Will?
Doing very well, Sarah. How are you doing this evening?
Doing good. I'm
That's
doing
good.
good. It is February.
Yes, it is.
It is my birthday month. It is Black History Month, and it is Valentine's Day next weekend.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's a packed month.
It is, but it isn't.
Yeah. Well, after the year that we just, after the year of January,
Yep, that's usually what happens. January is a marathon, and then you get February, which feels like a breather, and then you get March, which feels like another marathon. However, with March is this weird place. It's in a weird place in the calendar where, like, you're through the holiday season, like the seasons are changing, but it's not quite April, so it's just yeah. Yeah, but we got 1 month down, Will. 1 month down, 11 more to go.
Exactly. Yeah, actually, happy February. This is the first episode for February. Yeah.
We celebrated the end of the month last time.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Speaking about Black History Month, though.
Yeah.
So tell me about this Black History Month weekly spotlight.
Yeah. So, given that it is Black History Month, and just all the swirl in the universe right now, and just wanted to like highlight some things each week. As far as this week, for example, I was just going to highlight some of the things that are coming in 2025 that either has a Black director or actor or Black lead, and it's really just celebrate Black excellence in film, because there's just so much that's out there, and just wanted to use this as an opportunity to talk about. For example, as we were right before we were recording, we do have Captain America 4 coming up next week, and so of course really excited for this opportunity to see Anthony Mackie lead a film. I mean, of course he's done Hurt Locker and of course been in the MCU now for forever. But really passing on the mantle of Captain America with this character. We also have Opus, which Io Adaberry, who of course everybody knows from The Bear.
Yep.
Yeah, so she is in that film. It's it's a mix of fantasy, horror. It's also has a Black director, Mark Anthony Green, which is just actually only his second credit. I was looking at his IMDb. He did a short before, but it's about a young writer who goes to a remote home of a legendary pop star who disappeared 30 years prior, and and she apparently this character's coming back. So that's a film that comes out March 14th for fans of Io from The Bear. We also
sorry, who's playing Opus in that?
I think she is playing the lead. She's the young writer who goes to the home.
But who's playing the famous person?
I can't recall right off the top of my head. I have to go back and look at the
okay. I'll look it up while you talk about the next thing, because I can visually see who it is, and I cannot place the name for some reason. And it's not, is it John Malkovich?
It is. That's who it is.
Yeah. Lately, and nobody judge me. They're both older white men, okay? But lately I've been getting Ben Kingsley and John Malkovich confused.
Well, they've had long filmographies, and
I've been getting them confused, and we will talk about John Malkovich in a little bit for something else. But anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, then we have Ash, which is a film that's actually going to be on the streamer Shudder, but it's a horror film, and it's stars Daniel. Let's see. Ash is directed by a Black director. It has a white cast, but it's Flying Lotus, who's done a lot of work in composing, and so this is the directorial debut. So these are all films that's coming up in 2025. March 21st, we also have Woman in the Yard, starring Danielle Deadwyler, that's a film that is another Black horror film. So I'm doing sci-fi horror, sci-fi adjacent horror films. That's coming out March 28th. But of course, she's known for The Harder They Fall, as well as several other films as well. Sinners is another film that we talked about on my list of things I'm looking forward to in 2025. But that's of course, directed by Ryan Coogler and of course Michael B. Jordan. That's coming out April 18th. Also, and then let's close this out as far as projects from Black filmmakers, producers, directors. Jordan Peele's returning this year with a film that he's producing called Him, and it's a mix of sports and horror movies where you have a young quarterback who takes up tutoring from in a compound that has a grizzled veteran quarterback as his mentor, and that's a horror film that's coming out, produced by Jordan Peele on September the 19th. So those are just some projects that I was just wanted to just focus on, where, in 2025 that, that'll keep an eye on, either, going to the theater or on streaming. Yeah.
Who's directing the Jordan Peele?
As far as the director, it's, let's see. I know Marlon Wayans is starring in it. Justin Tipping, who directed an episode of The Chi, and also a film called The Kicks.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. It must be hard. I wonder if like somebody who's a successful director, mm-hmm. and then when they do when they're just the producer role, and especially if someone hasn't done as much, like how much producing is mentoring that director?
Yeah.
It's very curious. But yeah, well, that is, thank you for doing that. And I know that we're only getting started because it's literally the first week of the month. So there will be more spotlights to come in upcoming weeks. But to circle back around to Old White Men for just a minor minute, because why John Malkovich was also like, as soon as you said Opus, I'm like, I keep seeing that trailer and I see his face. And then I also saw his face smack dab dressed up as Gandalf in the Fantastic Four trailer.
Yeah.
Which, and I'm just going to give some insight to our lovely pre-show conversation where Will likes to sneak in right before he hits record. It's kind of like, Sarah, I'm not going to start recording until you confirm this one thing, because he knows me. He knows I like to hold my cards to my vest and I like to keep him on his toes. So I won't tell him stuff. And he's like, did you or did you not watch the trailer? and I know if I say no, he's going to be like, no, we're not recording. You go watch. He's done that before.
I have.
It's been very awkward, but we've done it. So yeah, I watched the trailer and I enjoyed it because it's a true teaser.
Yes.
True, sweet, breeze, easy trailer. I still have no idea really what the overall story arc will be, but they do a lot of little clips. Now, two things though that I am going to be the troll about is Ben Grimm was not working for me. The animation in a lot of the scenes, for some reason, it just stuck out too much. Huh. And I kept thinking about it today. I was like, it's weird because I've seen 3 movies with a talking squirrel and never questioned the animation. But for some reason, when the thing moves his eyebrows, I'm like, that's weird. And I also think there might be something, and again, this is early. This can all be fixed in post. I have no idea if this is actually what we're going to see on screen. or if there's going to be some tweaks added as time gets closer to release date. But I almost feel like, because I've seen The Bear season 2 probably 20 times.
Yeah.
The voice of that actor.
Yeah.
Blanking on his name, and I also know his name is really hard to say, but cousin, you know who you are.
Yeah.
It throws me.
Yeah, it did. I was there with you. I was thinking cousin the whole time. Even I mean, because I watched the trailer. I caught some of the tease lead up to it, which they did. Transformers 1 did this too, where they had the whole pre-show before the actual trailer dropped. And so I did watch a little bit of it, but then once I did watch the trailer, and when the thing was there with Herbie the robot, and because with the sauce, I was just like, yeah, it took me out of it. It did take me out. It did, because I did think I was thinking cousin.
Yeah, it's hard, and probably because it's also just his voice.
His voice is so distinct. Eben Baccarat, I think is. Yeah.
Yep, you said it. I'm still on the fence on if I can say it. Yeah. And the other thing, because I watched it, and then I watched a few reactions to it. And so the more I saw it, the more I was like, yeah, Johnny isn't working either. I love that actor. I really do.
Yeah.
What I mean by is not working, because this is nothing to do with performances at all. I'm just talking visuals, because that's really all we got for the most part. Is that it's just the blonde hair and blonde eyebrows, and the kid, he looks very like they're trying to make him younger, and he looks more boyish, and it's just, I'm just like, we all watch Stranger Things. This doesn't line up.
It's hard for especially, I mean, and once we see the film itself, maybe all of these things that we're quibbling about will disappear.
Yes.
But whenever the characters that they play, because Joseph Quinn played a very, like you said, in Stranger Things was a very pivotal character. And of course, and same with Ben Grimm's actor, very pivotal, and so, I mean, it's hard. It does take you out of it. And I agree. I think in both instances, it did take me out of the trailer a little bit whenever I saw them, because I was just so, I just identified with the characters that it portrayed.
And it's, the irony is that, like, the third person, the lead of this cast is Pedro Pascal. Yeah. And we've seen him in so many things, and it's just like, at this point, yeah, that's Pedro. He gets a pass, but they also didn't do anything to really make him look different.
No, they really.
No, so I think that's why, again, a lot of what we're nitpicking about is mainly the visuals. It's nothing to do with performances or anything. It's just like what we're seeing and what we're hearing in these brief clips. Like, I don't know if that's gonna work out. The overall package that they're selling looks good and looks thought through.
I mean, to that point, I mean, I think for me, I just love the crispness of it, and I got the retro. I mean, the retro vibe, retro futuristic vibe that they were giving off with the '60s alternate. It nailed it. I mean, I was visually, the color gradient, everything about it. I was just like, you got me. I'm really looking forward to this film now. Just see that aesthetic.
Well, same person who did Loki, so.
Yeah, true. That's true.
Cinematography and set design and all that, from what I understand. So I was fully on board for that. The other thing, and this is my last point, and it's funny because, like, when we say this is an authentic teaser, we mean it. This is really what a teaser should be. Watch this and the Superman first trailer, like teaser, there's a difference.
Yeah.
and I'm not saying like comparably, they both do their job, but Superman gave a little bit more away, and I don't know if that was necessary. That's all I'm saying. But so my last point that I think is so interesting, and I wonder how long it lasts, and I wonder why, but we saw everyone but Pedro use his powers.
Yep.
And I think that that's just that. I mean, yeah, we didn't see a lot of characters or were teased a lot of characters that we're expecting to see in this movie. But that aside, like they can hold back on characters. I think it's more interesting. You're holding back on your lead's superpower. And
Right.
I wonder why that is.
Because I think they feature his other superpower, which is his mind.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And they're leading with that, which is smart because he doesn't have the best superpower in the world.
Nope.
Let's call spade a spade. It's pretty stupid.
He doesn't. Nope. Yep.
It's pretty stupid. For the smartest man like in the world, it's a pretty stupid superpower.
Well, yeah, that's the thing they let in. They were leaning into that, and I think that was the that. Yeah, I think that was the right move. Everything about, like I said earlier, while we were in our pre-conversation about being a true teaser, it really, and like you said at the outset, it's truly a true teaser, and I'm excited for, of the 3 Marvel films coming out this year. I mean, this is the one I'm most excited for.
Oh, absolutely. I think you and majority of the people.
Yeah, and I'm not even a big. I mean, I'm not even a big Fantastic Four comic fan. I mean, but just as just again for this franchise, yeah, okay. I'm like, okay, this is the one.
Yeah. It fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We got ways to go, but I don't know. It just was a good glimpse, and a lot of the stuff that we were told, it felt like it was a fulfillment of a promise. Now I know it won't be fully fulfilled until we see the full movie, and especially how that freaking third act will go. Because honestly, a lot of these in this genre of film, it all hinges on how well do you execute your third act.
Pretty much. And hopefully they, now that we're deep into the MCU, hopefully they have like tweaked the third act as we move forward. So we'll see.
Well, and also this movie is doing a lot. It's got a lot of ground to make up for, especially as we launch into whatever this phase or this next slate of films for the MCU is. But all right, well, we will put a pin in that because we will return in a few weeks to talk more about the MCU with Captain America 4. So until then, we're going to continue our discussion about Paradise on Hulu. I hope everybody is watching it just like we are, because this is a spoiler-filled discussion and we don't hold back. Nope. And so if you want us to ruin the episode, then by all means. I mean, I do that for myself, but I do encourage you to watch it too. So the first episode, episode 3, the architect of social well-being. Xavier seeks answers on his own and cautiously turns to Dr. Tarabi. Meanwhile, Billy and Jane feel the pressure from Robinson. So I'm just going to put this out here. I did not like this episode. This episode rubbed me the wrong way. Just and the way they ended it, and then like I knew last week when I was talking specifically about the pilot episode, I'm like, oh, the bar is too high. Bar is too high. The writing was too good. I don't know. I'm not off the train. I'm still on the train, but this episode, I started to, I started to, how do I put it? I was putting together the pieces almost ahead of time. And when I start doing that with this type of show, I'm just like, oh, no, this is not where I want to be. I want to be one step behind. I can't be a step in front.
Yeah.
So that and a few other things, but what are your overall thoughts about this episode?
Yeah, of the 4 episodes that we have watched, I will agree with you that this one was for me the weakest of the 4. Um, and for me, it was the more interesting parts of this episode for me were the flashbacks than present day.
Mm-hmm.
Because to the very thing that you just shared, which is, oh yeah, I see where this is going. I see at the end of this episode that Xavier and Dr. Tarabi are going to hook up.
Yeah.
So the things that were happening in present day really, it was just like, okay, it's kind of it's predictable as far as that piece. But the flashbacks I thought were strong, and we'll get into, deeper into that as we discuss it. But that's just sort of my overall thoughts, quick overall thoughts of the episode.
Yeah, and we can start with the flashbacks because I honestly will just say I felt like the flashbacks were just as predictable as the present day stuff. Because
Yeah,
I knew, like, you knew from the get-go that he wasn't speaking to his father. You didn't know why, but as soon as it's brought up Parkinson's and his reaction, you're
yeah,
like, oh, you sold him out. Okay.
yeah,
This
yeah,
isn't a big mystery. And it's
yeah.
just, I don't know why. I was waiting the whole time for it to be like, okay, this is what I think is gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to turn left.
Yeah.
Like, where's the left turn? Where's what I wasn't expecting?
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't happen. And so I mean, I felt like the moments were sweet, and it was a you understood more. They did do a good job, um, similar to the first 2 episodes of, more importantly than the whole, like, why was he on bad terms with his father and what happened on his father's last flight. It was more about contextualizing why Dr. Tharabi told him in that earlier to say yes to that question and
Yeah.
during the interrogation. Like, that was the whole purpose of
Mm-hmm.
those flashbacks. And so I don't think they were a throwaway by any means
No.
or anything. That's not what I'm saying, but I did think they were it was a bit too simple and straightforward storytelling for me.
Yeah, it definitely. Yeah, this episode to me really just sort of. If you look at it like a coloring book, it was like filling it, coloring in the lines and contextualizing the picture of, like you said, why she told him yes, uh, how, and basically answering the question, how did all the, what's so special about the 25,000 people who got selected here? Because, the first couple, as they were setting things up, we know there's a catastrophe. We know that, 25,000 can make it in here. But then it really got into the why, the why whenever basically Sinatra had this plan, and she found, whenever she used Gabriella to, originally she was her therapist, but also she was going to be the architect for this. And really we see everybody has as a role.
Well,
And
yeah.
yeah, and we see like the initial, whenever how Xavier basically became the head of the detail, which, again, just sort of deepens the context and the relationship as far as like, here's why he became the head of the detail. and really, we see, like, I guess we get some glimpses as far as how Cal Bradford, sort of makes his decision making, and how he is as a president, and that charm that we also saw in the second episode, was, when he was talking to Samantha as well. So it just sort of fleshes out more about these characters.
Well, yeah, I think that to move back to present day, the social architect thing and understanding Dr. Tharabi more was interesting, especially because we saw the extended scene that we had seen earlier, of Cal first meeting Xavier. And it was in the pilot episode, it was always presented, even up until the end during their last encounter, of like, why did you choose me? Like, I still don't understand. But it turns out it wasn't Cal who picked. It was Tharabi. And I think there's more emphasis, though, not on the fact that Cal didn't pick Xavier, but Dr. Samantha, why am I blanking? Sinatra, but what's her real name?
Yeah, Samantha. Yeah.
Samantha. Yeah, Samantha didn't pick him either. Like, so I wonder, and I watched that scene very closely on her reaction, and it almost appeared like I got the impression that maybe because she had put Gabriella in charge, it wasn't like, she's not the type of person to put somebody in charge and not like micromanage.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she vetted a lot of that list, and we learned more about people she even added. So, but from her reaction to Gabriella coming in there with that file, it looked like this was someone that Samantha had not vetted.
Yeah.
And maybe that leads more into the kind of, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's not quite antagonistic, but the uncertainty that exists between Samantha and Xavier.
Totally.
For a few different reasons.
Yep.
But yeah. So okay, why did they have to hook up? I don't understand. I'm all for my fan fiction.
Yeah.
We even saw Sterling K. Brown, like, total backside.
Yeah.
But I for some reason I felt very uncomfortable. And I was like this is weird, and this is way too fast for me to get on board with this. This isn't what?
Yeah, so I was wondering what the angle was too, because especially given how broken Xavier is about his wife.
Yeah.
That's why I just didn't, and maybe it was just sort of the manipulation, just showing just how well, with the larger murder plot that's going on here as far as to who done it.
No.
So I was like, are they going that route with? Well, no, I was thinking of, are they going that route with it because it's showing how Tharabi could manipulate Xavier? Because I wasn't, because I just didn't buy, this man is just like, he's so like broken from, in some ways, as far as, he's angry because of what happened and his wife being left out in the not being able to get to the mountain and everything. And so it just seemed very, I mean, yeah, it just didn't set right well with me either.
Yeah, it just, so my whole thing is, because this happens throughout both of these two episodes, it's very clear how much he was in love with his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Still is, and even 3 years later.
Yeah.
And my theory is, and this is part of the reason why I'm just not on board with this whole thing, is they're setting it up so the wife is still alive, and then there's going to be a conflict because he's kind of moved on.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And I'm just like, that it's, you can't do that in the first season. I'm
Well,
yelling because if they do that,
yeah.
that pisses me off, because as a viewer, for that kind, which it can work. I've seen very few shows pull that off.
Mhm.
But you actually have to have spent time with these two people circling each other, and then to come together and then get that reveal.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that in the third episode, when it's like, well, one minute you're just saying, oh, I met him one time, and the next thing you're humping him while you're whispering in his ear, I have a message from the president. Which also, what kind of pillow talk is that? Like, and they just continued after that, like.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's, it's like the COVID world. Everybody's broken. I mean, I guess after 3 years being in the mountain and thinking that everything that you knew before, society rules are now just broken, and we just got to make it however we go. But but also to that, as they were making out, and with the whole, checking in for a wire, and of course their electronic devices, and going in the shower. So so I guess on the one, I guess I guess that's why, like I said, maybe there was like some kind of manipulation going on, or misdirection, because just with all the things we just discussed now, it just didn't, it just, or maybe, basically, again, they're just freaking horny, and it just, as the more they spent time together, and the cat, and the dance they were doing throughout the episode, as far as her trying to learn more about him, that the one thing
Oh,
that,
she
yeah,
views him as
yeah,
her ticket out from under Samantha.
yeah, yeah,
So maybe I from that angle I can see a little manipulation, but at the same time, she wanted him more than he wanted her. So like, I which I don't blame her, but she like came on very strong.
she
Came
did,
on
she
very
did,
strong.
yeah,
And that's another thing. I'm supposed to want the female to like get her man, and I was like, I don't know how to feel about don't I just,
yeah,
this seems weird. It's just, I can't, I
yeah,
and again, it goes back to my theory of where this is headed, especially after the next episode. But and the editing, I didn't like the editing in the end, because it was very clear to me, despite the whispering, but the cut to Billy in the car with the gun,
yeah,
like, I knew, I was like, well, duh, he there's a
yeah,
crazy person on the run in this like mountain. And Xavier's still alive, and for a reason. And yeah, if I was Uncle Billy, I would have done the same thing. So I
yeah,
just, yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
oh,
Third episode, yeah, third episode. Like I said, it was the, I get where they were coming with the drama, and you're right. I mean, the issue, with his dad, and the dad storyline. I mean, I like the moments. I mean, it was very touching. It's something that all kids have to. If you're fortunate enough that your parents get old enough, we all have to hit that place where you're going to have to do something like what Xavier did, which was to get him get his license revoked, whether it's his pilot's license or the driver's license or whatever. But again, I I don't I don't know what I'm trying to, and maybe we'll get some context as far as what it adds to the overall story. I mean, I guess it gave us some greater depth as far as you know,
what did the flashbacks?
yeah, the flashbacks.
Oh, the flashbacks were more about Dr. Tharabi's
Yeah,
reasoning for having
yeah,
Xavier
yeah,
come.
maybe,
Like,
yeah, yeah. So maybe, I guess, maybe what was, yeah. So maybe why it felt like um
I mean,
unfulfilling
yeah.
was because it just felt kind of like filler, just to like pad out the episode.
Yeah, it's hard. I can't, like, we're so early in the season,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
know it's a short season too.
yeah.
So it just, I don't think, I think what I'm starting to notice is some patterns where I'm also reading ahead and I'm just like, well, if they do that, then that means this. And if they go that direction, I don't know if I'm gonna like
Yeah.
this. It's just
I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean,
it,
I like it. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I mean, this is a good time to jump into the fourth episode because like these two episodes do contextualize one another
yeah. They do.
because and there is an aspect of the third episode that we didn't talk about but bleeds right into the fourth episode because Billy and Jane
Mhm.
Driscoll, um like we learned, and it's pretty obvious that they're the ones who cut the cameras, and we learn about we tennis night.
Yeah. Air quotes. We tennis night. Yeah, it was we. Yeah, it was a lot of
Yeah,
we happening that night for
a lot
sure.
of a lot of drunkenness, a lot of
Yeah,
using Cal's toys while he's asleep.
yeah.
Um, does that make them dangerous? No, no. Something else makes them dangerous. But the funny thing is, when that was playing out during the third episode, I was like, what the heck? That's so weird.
Hmm.
And then the fourth episode happens, and we learn all about Billy Pace
Yep.
during the carnival. And we even learn about a little bit about Jane, but and it makes all the sense in the
Hmm.
world
Yeah.
for why. And the writing of Billy from the get-go has been on point for me.
Yes. Same.
And
Same.
so this is another grievance. Why do they keep killing the characters I like? Okay, they need to stop doing this. I knew going in Cal was only going to be featured in the flashbacks,
Mhm.
but now you've taken Uncle Billy from me. Like,
Yeah.
what the heck?
I was pissed. I was just like, I sat there. I was just like, it wasn't. I didn't have the Last of Us reaction that I had whenever we lost
Right.
some characters, but I was gutted. Because I really, I really liked the work that John Beavers was doing as Agent Billy Pace.
I was
And
mad.
you're right.
I was mad as soon as he told him, "Yeah, I need one more night to be Uncle
Oh,
Billy, and then I'm gonna go." And I'm like,
yeah,
"Dude, you're not.
yeah.
Why? What? Okay, can we just all take a moment? Okay, lesson as a writer, don't do that. don't don't put.
Yeah.
I just
I will.
can't. That
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I just want to get this point out.
yeah.
To me, that is amateur hour. I don't know why they would have included a line like that because that is clear telegraphing that that character is not going to make it throughout the rest of the episode. Like when as soon as somebody says, "Oh yeah, we'll do that tomorrow," like this very critical piece of information, and and you're like, "Oh yeah, you're going to die."
Yeah.
I wasn't necessarily expecting Jane, but the longer that scene went on, I was like, oh, okay. And now, more importantly, it pisses me off because I know something
Mhm.
that about this society, paradise, that Xavier doesn't.
Yeah.
And so I'm just, for the rest of the episodes, I'm just like, okay, so as a viewer, I know this. Catch up, Xavier.
Yeah. I, I will say, I didn't think it was amateur hour. I actually thought it was damn good writing because it was it was a bookend to the beginning of the episode about, even though it was a shitty uncle who was like trying to get the message about never hesitate.
Yeah.
It made it to me. It made it to me. It was like, yeah, I saw the moment. We all saw it coming. Whenever when he was going to tell him in the next morning, I was worried it was going to happen there in the park, like some sniper was going to take him out in front of the kids. Um, that's what
Oh,
I thought was that's what I thought was going to happen.
no.
Um, but no, but no, I thought that it was just, the lessons that Billy fought, fought all, from his young days, whenever we first, when the episode first starts and we see him there on the hunting trip and stuff with his shitty uncle. So yeah, I just thought it was just, his last, that was one lesson that, he seemed he had gotten over, but at the end of the day, he forgot it. That's that. And
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I agree. Like 90% of this episode is really good writing because it's about Billy, and because again, the flashbacks are doing a lot of contextualizing and make sense, and you do learn more about Paradise. And even though I think the whole 6 months surface exploration thing.
Yeah.
I felt like I was too far ahead of the writing, and like I put together the pieces way not when I should have on how that unfolded, because essentially what happens is we learn that 6 months in, they agree to send a group of scientists up to the surface level. And it turns out that they also, or Samantha more importantly, sent Billy up there to kill them.
Yeah.
And we also learn that the surface is habitable, and there are signs of life. Yep. But it's been 3 years, and because those people died, everyone still thinks like that's not the case. Yeah. So hence my theory from the get-go, it was Xavier's wife who killed Cal. I'm just saying, I'm just going to keep throwing that out there because I know she's alive. Like, this is another thing that's going to drive me crazy until we see something where it's like, no, she's clearly dead. To me, like, no, she's alive. All the signs are pointing there that she's still alive.
Yeah. I won't go as far as thinking that she is the killer, but I do think she's alive for sure.
Yeah. I will say, I don't think we've seen the killer. I know it's not Samantha. It can't be Samantha, because Samantha would know Samantha would know where the tablet is, and she clearly doesn't.
Right.
And so like there are clear signs that it wasn't her or anybody who she sent. Like, she didn't.
See, I do think it's somebody. I do think she's behind it.
Well, then why, if she's behind it, then and you very well could be right. Then what are we freaking doing with this whole investigation storyline?
I mean, that's the other piece. I mean, I don't know. Well, either I don't know if she's, well, maybe let me. So I think either one, she may be behind it, or two, if she's not behind it, there is some things that is on that tablet that would completely undermine her not.
I know why she wants the tablet.
Yeah. There's stuff up there Yeah, I'm just putting it out there for for our listeners, just for I mean, I think everybody knows that. I just wanted to verbalize it, but
yeah. I just was wondering why you think that she would be behind it.
Just her motivations for setting up Paradise to begin with. It's her own little utopia.
No, right.
And maybe something Cal, maybe they had a falling out, and he was going to.
Okay. That you're still working on motive, but then why are we spinning our wheels with this investigation storyline if she's behind it?
Because the cover story to the rest of the people in Paradise is it was just an accident. No one knows that it was a murder.
Right.
So she's got to figure out who did it, so she can have her bad motherfucker take out whoever actually did do it. So everything, her whole little utopia here doesn't get blown up.
Yeah, and if that was the case, then she would have been able to do that. But I guess what I'm saying is I really don't think she's behind it. And if she is, the writers have a lot to work to do to make me convinced that we didn't waste our time with a full storyline.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I mean, I understand
her motive. I get that. yeah, she's set up to be the antagonist, but it's way too obvious. It's
Yeah.
way too obvious to be
It is.
her. And it doesn't make sense for all of this commotion for her and Robinson to try to find and it's not even about Cal's murder. Like, it's clearly who has the tablet.
Yeah.
So, and those could be two different people. Like, you could be right. She could have sent somebody to kill Cal, and then somebody else snuck in and stole the tablet. But and that somebody else is Xavier's not dead wife. Just saying. So oh my God. I feel like because his wife is clearly not dead, the writers have to kill off any like bromance that's going on with Xavier. So like it's just a poor guy. Oh my God. Yeah, so we learn through flashback and present day about Billy, and to your point, why this episode did have a majority of really good writing, despite that line that I still stand by and think is amateur hour. They did an excellent job of making us understand the difference between Xavier and Billy in Paradise. And I thought that was beautiful because Billy is a person who in the real world was in the dirt, in the muck, and the world kicked the shit out of him and he was just scraping by, and life wasn't he didn't have a lot of stuff. He comes to Paradise, or finds himself in Paradise, and to him it's like, this is how the life should have been. I have a best friend. I can be a stand-in uncle for these kids. I have this girlfriend now. I have a job. Nothing happens here, but this is so normal. And I have a house. Like that, when they did that line about the house, it was like, you get it. You understand. And they always mention, like, this is the third carnival, which is an anniversary day of Paradise. And a celebration day. And Xavier always points out why Billy is so happy. And it's because, like, this is a life he only could have dreamed of 3 years ago. And he couldn't even want, like, in a way, like, it was so far-fetched for him to ever get there. So you understand that. And more importantly, you understand why for Xavier, it's not. It's because he is stuck here and still, and I loved how they brought it up. And they brought it up as it's the unknown. It's the not knowing. That is the hard part. It's harder to grieve when you're still questioning if your wife or the person you lost is alive or dead. And that is something, and that is why they do the mission to the surface. I will say, though, that another reason why these two episodes kind of made me take a step back a bit is because I watched a show called The Leftovers. And The Leftovers, specifically season 2 and arguably majority of season 3, did this, and they did it well. This everything, and I don't want to come off as too harsh, but I'm always honest with my opinions. I just hope that this doesn't become a watered down version of The Leftovers, because Leftovers was all about those who are left behind grieving those who were taken, and that psychology of grief and loss, and also some of the uncertainty, because in that, the premise of that show is one moment majority of the world just disappeared, and it was all focused on those left behind. So to an extent, I mean, I know the easier way to go it'd be comparing it to Fallout, which is true. I mean, that's as soon as they're like, we're going to send people to the surface, and then at the end when Billy confronts Samantha and she's like, well, it isn't Like, do you think you want to be up there? Like, can you only imagine what kind of chaos is happening? And I'm like, well, yeah, I watched Fallout.
Yeah, I watched The Last of Us. Yeah, I mean, it's you fill in the blank as far as any dystopian show where people are living in behind in a hermetically sealed bubble. I mean,
Right, right.
yeah,
So it's so, but I think my concern is more about specifically the themes of grief and loss that were explored in Leftovers,
yeah,
that they are hinting at here, and they're doing good. It's just for me that's a high bar.
yeah, yeah. That's fair. That's fair. I know you. That's throughout our time podcasting together. I know that's a show that that you use as a reference point as far as like a high bar show that you measure a lot of things against. And so, yeah, I did not watch The Leftovers, but yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I agree. I mean, I think it is easy in these dystopian shows like this, and when you have points as you just articulated, for them to go that particular route. But I will, yeah, but but I guess, and I guess with the, given that we have, as we have explored tonight, at least two mysteries that we know of, and now maybe even more, given that we've learned now that the outside world is habitable. You know, all what I think we got various threads here, mysteries that we do need to like find out answers to, as far as the murder, as far as what happened to the pad. Now, will what's going to happen now with with Billy being gone? I know they try to stage it to make it look like a suicide, but
Yeah, that's the cover.
what's Jane? That's the cover story, but what's Jane's role going to be moving forward? Because now, to my crazy theory about maybe Samantha's behind Cal's death. I mean, was she the one who did it? So I mean,
Right.
especially given that the cameras were conveniently off, and someone came from the outside. So yeah, so I mean, yeah, so I think I feel like there's enough there that will keep us engaged, and who knows what other like major characters going to like get off them. I know we're running out of them, but we we still have the Robbie that if Samantha sees that her usefulness is gone, she may take her out next. Who knows?
Her usefulness is gone. I don't think Samantha's on a killing mission right now. Like if for her utopia to work, she has to have people.
Yeah,
she
true.
can't just kill everyone.
But everybody knows her secrets, though. I mean, that's the thing. I mean,
but do they?
Well, not
Because
everybody,
you know
but
who doesn't? Xavier.
yeah.
Xavier knows
Well,
nothing.
well, that's just it. So to that point, to my point about the Robbie, now that if she just discovers that Sam, if Samantha discovers that the Robbie and Xavier did hook up, but even though I will say, I mean, Xavier really fumbled the bag there at the carnival whenever they were talking. I mean, the man has no game. As far as like the day after. I mean, come on, really. He was like, it was like almost like it's his first time. But yeah, but maybe she's if she finds that out, and she's and given that Sinatra's already suspicious of Xavier anyway, to your point, you know, he's the wild card that she didn't plan for.
Right.
So I mean, there's any number of like ways this can go still. So I think that's
yeah. I just pray to God you're wrong. Like if Samantha's behind this,
I'm probably
I will not be watching season 2.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get an answer in season 1. So
my God, if they do not answer that question by the end of the season, no.
Well, thinking back what Fogelman said, I do think, if I recall the interviews he did about the show, he did say he was going to wrap things up. So he will wrap this one mystery up. Yeah.
I was going to say, I was like, for some reason I had it in my mind that a lot of what we're talking about right now is not, I mean, I still think that they maybe have two mysteries. I mean, I don't really consider the actual event itself to be a mystery
Yeah,
per se, because that's just like
yeah,
scenery.
yeah. It's
That's
just
circumstance.
yeah, it's the definition of a MacGuffin.
Yeah, yeah, it's just circumstance. And
Yeah.
I mean, the only way I'll allow this mystery about the Cal and more importantly who stole the tablet is if it by the end we at least know who's behind it.
Mm.
And by we I mean us and Xavier. I'm not, I hope people can tell by my reaction to these episodes. I'm not a fan of a mystery thriller show where I, as a viewer, know more than our lead character. I
Mm.
don't, I don't, that it bothers me because I feel like for when I'm engaged in a thriller or mystery, I am putting together the pieces right alongside the main character.
Yeah, yeah.
When
I
I
agree.
already have a piece of the puzzle and I feel like I'm like, "Oh, now I have to wait for you to catch up." I don't what?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I'm the same. I'm there with you on that one. To be honest, yeah, I'm the same way. And I don't know if he's using the drama and the other stuff, Fogelman, that is, as a crutch to compensate for us being ahead of Xavier as far as putting things together. So
Right.
yeah,
Right. So I do even though it sucks that Billy's dead. Um I do appreciate how they also managed to explain to me and make it make sense how Billy ended up part of the 26,000.
yeah, yeah,
Immediately within the first like few flashbacks, I'm like, wait a second, why did Billy end up dead?
yeah, yeah. It just seems
What?
like a dumb jock, you know.
Um,
Yeah,
and now it's like, okay, so can't wait to understand more about Jane.
yeah.
Um, but and see where that came from. I do think it was a bit over the top when she's like, "Oh, she sent the biggest person." I'm like, "Yeah, you killed him with pills, honey. You didn't like beat the shit out of him." Okay, Uh, calm down,
Yeah.
slow
Well,
your
yeah.
roll.
Well, yeah. Well, maybe emotionally, she definitely definitely is
Yeah,
a worse off person than Billy ever was. But yeah,
right.
yeah. She's a
Um,
cold-blooded killer. Maybe she's the one that we get off next. Yeah.
well, but it also makes sense. Also, her reaction, her everything we've seen leading up to
Mhm.
then,
Mhm.
like
Oh
because
yeah.
they fully fleshed out Billy,
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh, I didn't question when they're like, oh, Jane's like that too, because I'm like, oh, okay, I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That wasn't like, oh my God, I did not. It's like, no, 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 because you contextualize this character,
Yeah.
and now I see that they are the
Yeah.
same. They're same. They were brought there for the same reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course
Yeah.
she's very probably has a very troubled childhood history, all of that,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
to
And
make
also,
her want to preserve this utopia the same way that Samantha does.
yeah, yeah, and also another thing too, as we were just talking about Billy and Jane, I think about that one scene there. It's either episode 3 or 4, I can't remember which one now, but where they were in the hall and they were talking and they were worried about the other agent overhearing
Great.
some d discussion. Yeah, 3. Yeah. Um, so because I'm trying to, yeah, there's something was behind that door, and so I'm wondering. That's again, just another little element there that I'm seeing if Billy is around in flashbacks moving forward. Hopefully we'll get some answers to like why they had that reaction to that.
Yeah. I
That
if
episode. Yeah,
If Cal can be in flashbacks, so can Billy. I mean, we watched the first 6 months of Paradise unfold through Xavier and Billy becoming best friends.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're gonna still see Billy, and hopefully we don't get introduced to any more bros, because Xavier cannot have the best friend.
No,
we've established this. They die. Xavier, get yourself a t-shirt. Do not be a best friend to me. You will die.
Keep your distance. Keep
your distance. Only ladies. Apparently. Apparently. We'll see. Oh man. Okay. Well, I think that's it for us tonight. Will, why don't you tell our listeners where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on the socials and tell me if you think my theory is way off base or too obvious at Will and Polk, WILLMPOLK.
You can find me there too at SJ Belmont, SJBLMONT. Please follow our crew on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Cena Nerd, on Blue Sky, at Cena Nerd. Friend us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Threads at scene_n_nerd, and visit our website, www.scenanerdpodcast.com. But most importantly, rate, follow, and comment on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Good night, Geek Out. You're welcome.